Hello guys, just Goron here and welcome back to another episode of building Beekse Bergen. We are at the Primate house once again, and I have done some things off camera. In the last episode we finished the meerkat or aardvark exhibit you can see over here, and I was doing some other stuff in the area, and off camera I kind of finished most, if not all, of this area basically. This back place needs a bit more work, but you can see around this needs some work, like kind of up until this path intersection. It's pretty much complete, and the exhibits of course. But off camera I worked on these two aviaries. Over here we have a pretty small aviary housing a secretary bird, which is what this little boy is. In between is a little staff building. If we move in, there's nothing inside. Still have to clean it up a little because there's some unneeded pieces. But yeah, I've kind of made the decision to focus on exterior, on staff buildings mostly. I plan on kind of making every area that is accessible by people, making that. But staff buildings and stuff, I just want to be functional and, working. So, over here we have another aviary, which is for vultures. Clearly, these are vultures. Really cool detail over here is a bit of a skeleton a skull. Which is there in real life as well. And okay, I'm a bit tall, so I can't really get a good view of... Oh. And we are stuck. Oh, wait, no, we're inside. Okay. Well, I might as well show the inside. So it's a pretty highly detailed habitat with all these rocks and other things lying about. And animals seem to like it. Probably not if I turn welfare back on, but they've got space to move around, and they do, so that's all good. And yeah, so once again did the thing with the ropes, with the implied net. Sadly we can't really, there is not really a piece that I can put in here to get an actual net over it, so yeah, we'll have to stick with this, but it looks pretty good. And yeah, so something else I can show you is some management things I've done. First of all, over here I was playing around with some settings because I was thinking for our dicks, what if we took baby pronghorns? Then they'd actually be of a much smaller size and look more like dicks. But sadly, I realized that if we turn on animal birth, we also have to turn on animal aging. So basically, once I have this baby pronghorn, at that point I have to turn off animal aging, and we won't be able to get any other babies. So I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle that quite yet. Maybe we need to make kind of, because I want to have two baby cheetahs in here. There's a baby chimp in the zoo, so I think it'd be fun to have those to kind of reflect what's in the zoo at this point. Though, of course, those animals are also going to grow up, and probably the cheetahs will probably be pretty far grown up once I'm done with this place. So yeah, I was playing around with settings to do that when I thought like, oh no, I shouldn't, and then I forgot about it, and suddenly all of the animals in the zoo got babies, so I just dumped them all in here. We have a bunch of things. I think these might be adults. Yeah. What are you doing here? Now, another management thing that I did is to do with the fact that we had basically Monkey Island and Safari Zone Island. and their paths weren't connected to any of the other parts of the zoo, which worked but wasn't ideal. So I thought of a way to fix that, and I did like this. Right now, this still needs some cleaning up, but right now the entrance of this building just leads you down into a tunnel system that tunnels about and connects to the Primate house over here, which has the same thing. So it still looks the same, but over here is the tunnel down. And the best part about this is that we can have pretty much every facility in here that we want. So we can have a vet, a trade center, just anything. And I've connected it up over here, which is kind of a staff area as well. Still needs a bunch of work. I'm not sure when we're gonna get to finally finishing this restaurant, but we will at some point. Today I'm not sure what I'm going to be working on. I want to continue on this area, but I'm also kind of getting at a point where I'm not sure what to do. Of course, there's the finishing of the monkey habitats, but for some reason I really don't feel like doing that. I really don't like making climbing structures, so I've been postponing it for as long as I can. So maybe I should just bite the bullet and get to work on that. Okie dokie, I have to go any minute, but I thought I'd quickly give you guys an update. And the main update is foliage, but also some climbing structures, yes. So yeah, tons of birds around this area. I'm not sure if I'm happy with the way I'm currently doing the shores. I've got some grassy plants kind of all over the place. I don't really like the look of the reeds. These ones are okay. These ones are pretty good when you're using the whole of them, but I want them much lower, and then you get stuff like this where I'm like, okay, it's just not that great, but I'll look into it. But the rest is actually pretty. I'm really happy with this side. Basically, these climbing structures, I'm really happy with it. We got even a net, which I'm pretty proud of. And yeah, tons of ropes, little pieces of shelter, poop. It's amazing. And then you come underneath the tunnel to this hot mess, which just took so much effort. I only have one picture, or two pictures, one from this side, one from this side. So I could kind of cross-reference them to see where things should go, but I have no idea if this is accurate, and I don't know if I care. But it still, it looks messy. It just looks messy. So I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know if I'm going to redo it. I really don't want to redo it because this was a lot of work. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just going to edit it to make the beams like small beams, or maybe even these sorts of beams. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this thing because it's I'm not sure. We'll see. Oh yeah, and last but not least, this little viewing area now has roped fences as well, and it had a double rope, and at one point the rope kind of just dangled onto the floor, so I added that as well for some extra detail. Oh, and something that's I think is pretty cool is we have a termite mound over here, which is a pretty iconic look, I think, with like the spiky poles, and I even put actual termite mounds inside of it, and I haven't seen a chimp eat from it, but I have seen zookeepers fill it, so there is food in there. Wait, this one had food. Okay, all the food is still in there, which is not a good sign, and that must mean that they can't reach it, but I mean, I'll keep an eye on that. Alrighty then, we've got a bunch more of the foliage in. Let me actually quickly just put the water back. Yeah, we have a bunch more foliage in here, as well as the baboon habitat is coming along quite well. And there's a bunch more detail I copied over the same climbing structure to over here because they look so similar, and I hated building it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I am not a big fan of making climbing structures. Stuff like this is fine, but these more complex spaghettis of beams is just not really my cup of tea. It's fine this way. There needs to be another little platform over here with some ropes dangling from it and some other ropes going this way, and then it's fine. So yeah, tons of foliage added, reeds, elephant grass, upside down elephant grass to give a bit more yeah, kind of this brownish color into these reeds, making it a bit more grounded. And yeah, that kind of concludes these two habitats. They're basically done, apart from the interiors, which still need a lot of work on both sides actually. And I don't mean gorillas by that, I actually mean this interior building. We need some more of these side beams in here, and just beams going through the roof, as well as some plants and stuff like that on the inside over here. So what I'm working on at the moment is the gorilla habitat, and yeah, I've got most of the trees in. I think most of it is correct. I think this one might actually have to move a bit, but I'm looking into that because I kind of got stuck at one point trying to figure out where some things back here were. Yeah, of course I have my whole grid method and stuff like that, so I was like, yeah, this is correct, that's correct, that's correct. Okay, this comes, but why is this area so small? And what I ended up having to do to make it work, the bridge was in the wrong spot. So I've moved over the bridge, like it used to be over here, now it's over here, and that is actually the correct spot. So I still have to move this fence around, but that took me like 2 hours, if not more, to move this bridge, because all of this terrain work, all of this pathing work, especially this 3-meter staff path that we have over here, is just painful to add it. But it is now a lot more accurate. That is something I do want to mention. It's actually much more accurate, because it slopes up and down over here. It's got a bit of a wider spot, especially over here. The hillside kind of bulges out a bit. So yeah, all in all, it's pretty big of an improvement. It just sucks that it also involved having to redo a bunch of this stuff, which I think is also new for you guys. Yeah, so I've got this fence in here, which is now gonna continue on over the bridge, kind of up till this point where there's gonna be normal rope fences. Now, something I can show you as well that I've worked on in between these things is this little binocular stand. I don't actually know what drove me to make it out of a sudden. I think I found a very clear reference pic. Yeah, I was looking at some extra reference pics of this place, and then I found a very clear shot of this bridge in which these trash cans were on the other side. And I was so pissed because I found two separate pictures. In one picture they're on this side, in the other picture they're on this side. And I was kind of upset. But yeah, after finding those pictures, I decided to try and make a binocular stand like this one. Kind of took inspiration from J Ash, who has some binoculars on the workshop. Here they are. And they look pretty good. I really quite like the shape and stuff he's managed to give them. However, in my opinion, they are just a little bit big for the people. I mean, this left one is actually really cool. I really like that one. But the second problem I had was that they stick out underneath. These poles that he's put them on, especially that one, is really cool. But yeah, it just didn't work for what I wanted. So I made my own custom one using the reference pic, and it actually looks a whole lot like the one that they have in the zoo. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. Okay, it's been a while since I last recorded. I've been to the zoo again, and I've done all sorts of things. You might have seen my tutorial video on how to do walk-in exhibits on any animal that was actually recorded in between the last clip and now. So that is actually one of the things that I have done. But what I've also done is pretty much finished the gorilla habitat. I think we can use a little bit more detail around the shore, but the shores are quite bland, just grassy in general. We have this path over here, which I broke again on accident, so I had to redo this 3-meter pathing. But overall, we have a lot more detail around this area. I've put this here temporarily just to kind of bring people along this path because no one was really walking here at all. But yeah, I've recently visited the zoo again, and I recorded a bunch of stuff where I was going through the park making changes, but it wasn't that interesting, so I suppose we'll go over most of those changes when we do another zoo tour. But you can see some things, like I've got more of these signs around. I think I've already shown this, right? Making the toilet. I'm not actually sure. But yeah, it's this area is really coming along. Like, we've got a bunch more foliage to do still, especially in the back there, kind of around this path, which we actually have people walking around on, which is fantastic, because this is a staff path. Like, the area is only accessible by staff. Oh yeah, something else which is pretty cool is that I noticed, I found a pretty neat image of this place. Also, I think these are new, these fences, yes. That's how they look in real life, which I'm really happy I've been able to recreate because it looks pretty cool. But I found a picture that kind of had this sort of angle on this building. And I noticed that this was actually kind of a slanted diagonal wall. And I noticed a little door and window over here, which I took as a keeper hut. So we now actually do have a keeper hut inside of the second primate house, and I've made the work zone and everything. It's all functional. This back area is still pretty shit, but that's fine. And if we actually go to the front and we go inside, you'll get to see that I have finished the interior habitats. Oh, those boxes are a bit too low. I'll fix that at some point. But yeah, I've finished most of the interior. Actually, there's these little fences around. There's some bamboo here and there. Some trash cans. Dirt on this side with some brick around, but most importantly, of course, the animals have climbing structures, and yeah, they come in here and enjoy themselves. The chimps also, but no one's inside at the moment. And they have these little hanging little sticks, and it's all close to what it should be, but well, with scaling and kind of having to fiddle all this stuff in here, it's pretty difficult to get it exactly right. So I think it's fine that we took a little bit of creative liberty here. But what's really cool actually is that if we would to make it rain, we will start. Oh my god, they're actually using the climbing frame. That's a first. I have never seen a chimp on there, and I've never been so happy. But yeah, we made it rain, which the chimps don't really like. I mean, they don't seem to care for some reason, but these guys are all running inside. So if we quickly join them here, and yeah, we get to enjoy the view of the chimps hiding away from them. And the same goes for the gorillas, I think. Yeah, they've already made it in. Well, 2 of them have. Where's the others? Did you want to go inside? Suppose not. I mean, I do have these little bits of shelter, but I don't know if they're actually functional. Anyway, that kind of shows you most of the important stuff. Oh, look, there's another boy heading back inside. So yeah, most of this area is now like 99% 99.9% done. Like, there's some more foliage work to be done here and there, but it's really nothing really. I would like to turn this into a baby flamingo, or 2 baby flamingo actually, but not yet sure how I'm gonna tackle that. Yeah, we really are getting close. Okay, more foliage over here, more foliage over here, and this is actually already the connection point to the safari, where there's gonna be giraffe and more zebra and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, maybe that's where we'll be headed next. I don't know for sure. I actually think we're going to be working on this area, the safari village. What are you guys? You're enjoying the view of the springbok. Don't worry, the view will get better. It's a work in progress, because this entire area is subject to change. So yeah, I think next episode we're going to be working on the goats, because we now have the entire walk-in area all functioning, which is really cool. So we can now start to work on yeah, getting the habitat up and running properly. And part of that will also be kind of building this place, the Africa village, and from there we can branch out to all sorts of and from there we'll be able to branch out to all sorts of interesting areas, like the elephant habitats. Maybe we'll do some more stuff in the main areas, kind of getting some foliage down there as well. But as of now, I'm gonna leave you guys off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.